first thing, Dharma and Adharma. What is Dharma and Adharma? That is the first question one needs to understand. So Dharma, as normal people, they think Dharma is a religion, Adharma is a non-religion. That is not the idea. Dharma is the reality. Dharma is the what happens, and Adharma is what does not happen, or as in not real. If something is not real, that is not Dharma. So this is what we are trying to learn here, is the universal truth. So this is the reality. So that is why we call this Dharma, right? Buddha Dharma, because Buddha as in bhave udura demima, as in to get rid of the bhava, as in the sansara, the cycle, the path, the sansara path, or the journey of life. So we are trying to get rid of the journey of life, and hence why this is called Bauddha Dharma, right? In this, we have to see the world. So we are trying to identify the reality of the world. So when we say the world, we have to understand what the world is, what the world consists of. So when we say the world has been described in various ways, using various definitions. One way is looking at the inner world and the outer world. There are two worlds, inner world and outer world. Inner world is the six senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. And the outer world are what we take from the six senses, which is vision, sounds, smell, taste, touch and thoughts. So those are the two worlds that we have. So we call me as the inner world is me, and then we called mind as the outer world. We try to make mind, and that is where the problem comes, right? So what we have to understand here is what everyone is trying to do in the world. What are we doing? What are we looking for? Are we looking for something? Why are we here? What are we trying to achieve? What is the vision? So that is the question everyone has. Everyone needs to understand. We need to know why we are here. What are we trying to achieve? So if we look into every individual, you will come to one answer. The answer will be either happiness, or we are looking for pleasure, gratification, or asada. Everyone is trying to be happy. We are trying to have a happy life, or be happy, or achieve something, right? And once we achieve, ultimately we are trying to be happy. So one can say, I am trying to make my son happy. But end of the day, by making your son happy, that person is trying to be happy himself or herself. So I am looking after my mother, that gives me pleasure. So end of the day, that is what gives that person pleasure. So they are trying to achieve the pleasure. So that is what we are trying to fulfill. We are trying to get asada. These are the words that you need to learn: gratification or asada, or happiness or pleasure. So how are we trying to achieve this is what we need to look at next. How we are trying to achieve this happiness is by using these six senses. We use the six senses to achieve happiness from outside world. We have the inner world. From the inner world, we are trying to achieve happiness from the outside world. That is what we are trying to do, right? I will leave it at that and get back to this once we cover this, right? Now we have to look at Lord Buddha. Before becoming a Lord Buddha, he was Prince Siddhartha, right? So what was he was supposed to become a supreme king if he didn't become the Lord Buddha. I'm sure you have all heard about this. He was supposed to become the king of the kings. He was supposed to become the supreme king. But after achieving um, uh, becoming Buddha, he said, I won. He gave up the Supreme King and became Lord Buddha, and he said he won. So he must have got something better than becoming a Supreme King. So that this is something that we need to understand. So we in our lives trying to achieve this, that maybe we want to buy a house, we want to buy so many cars, maybe we want to have this much wealth, say. But becoming a Supreme King is what Lord Buddha gave up, and he said he won after becoming a Lord Buddha. So there must be something better than becoming a Supreme King. So we have to rethink about this, about what we are trying to achieve, and if there is anything wrong in our path and what we are trying to do. So that is something that we need to keep in our mind when we are listening to this Dhamma. And also another thing, after Lord Buddha becoming Lord Buddha, there were many kings, many ministers, many rich people left everything and became monks and followed this route, and they all became happy. They became Arihatun Wahansela. They never went back to the wealth. They gave up the wealth after understanding the Dhamma. That is the most important thing. They didn't just try this without understanding Dhamma. They wouldn't just give up everything without understanding Dhamma. So they gave up after understanding. They weren't forced to go become a monk. No one was. They understood the Dhamma and automatically they gave up everything. They thought, no, there's nothing in here. So something happened. So this is something that you need to understand. So now again coming back to what are we looking for, and we need to also see, are we receiving this or are we getting what we are looking for? So we are looking for asada. So we are looking for asada by doing certain things. So what we need to see is, are we getting this, or have we fulfilled this desire of filling the eye with the visions, filling the ears with the sounds, nose with the smells, tongue with the taste, body with the touch, and mind with the thoughts. We have been doing this all the throughout the journey of samsara, but we are still trying to fulfill. If we take examples, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or the richest people in the world, have they fulfilled it? Or do you think they still are trying to fulfill? You need to think. If you think about your father, your mother, your grandfather, grandmother, have they fulfilled it? How many years did they live? How many years did they try to fulfill? But did they fulfill? So this is something we need to think. I'm trying to make you think, start thinking, and then I'm trying to introduce the concepts so you will get the idea. In the process, there is something else that I need to mention, which is there is some kind of unlearning that has to be done. This is especially for people who know Buddhism a lot. If you don't know about Buddhism, it's very good. For example, the example mentioned in the Thero's discussion was two pupils went to study dancing to a dancing teacher or music teacher to learn music, and the music teacher asked, have you learned music before? And the student said, yes, I have. Okay, I'm gonna charge you 1,500, whatever currency it is. And then the student comes, and then the teacher asks, have you learnt music before? He says, no. Okay, I'm only going to charge you 1,000. So from the person who has learned before, the teacher is charging more, 1,500. From the person who hasn't learnt anything, is only charging 1,000, because the reason behind is, from the person who has learnt, if the person has learned something wrong, then there is a lot of unlearning to be done. to make him learn the right thing. So that is why he is charging more. So the same way, if you have learned something wrong before, then you have to put more effort, and you have to listen carefully and try to understand the right Dhamma. Otherwise you will be lost, because you might have understood something else which is not right. You have to be very prudent, and you have to be very intelligent and carefully listen to it, and don't accept everything I say. You have to put it into your mind, process it, and if you have any questions, ask the questions, and make sure you understand properly, you grasp the concepts properly, and only go ahead if you do understand. Otherwise, disturb me and ask questions. So the next thing we need to find out is what happens if everything happens the way we want it to happen. For example, so what I'm trying to tell you is, this is how we get the happiness, right? How we get happiness is by, when something happens the way we like, we become happy. So we have a like in our mind, we have a desire, we have a want. Okay, this is how this has to happen. Then it happens the way we want or we like, then we are happy. For example, you have a child. I want my child to pass the exam. The child passes the exam and you are happy. I want to receive 100,000 as my salary. So you receive that, or as bonus, and you receive that, then you're happy, right? So if everything happens the way you like, then you become happy, and the happiness will be there. So that is also something that you need to know.